Better messaging is great, but it's meaningless unless you can drive real, tangible outcomes as a result of the experience. I spend a lot of time talking with clients about outcomes. I wouldn't recommend doing the work that I do unless I was confident that I could yield real results for the organizations. So what are some of the outcomes that we can drive as a result of improving messaging, building a better narrative, a clearer prevailing perspective? There's a few things. First and foremost, you're making your sales team more confident and more clear about what the value propositions are, what the positioning is, what the differentiation is for your product and for your company as it relates to other competitors in the marketplace. What does that ultimately bring you? It helps you move conversations through the sales cycle faster. You can put leads into the pipeline, but unless you're able to drive urgency through your narrative, urgency through your positioning, unless you're able to help your prospects understand what the journey looks like, what reward is waiting for them, it's going to be really hard to get them through to conversion. So the messaging and positioning materials that we create arms the sales team with the elements that they need to have those conversations, to create that urgency for the person that they're talking to. And I think it's an important distinction because, the salesperson, what are they thinking about? They're thinking about how can they drive this deal forward within the month that they need to drive it forward in order to hit their quota, right? That's urgency for them, but that's not urgency for your prospects. So you need to take time to help your salespeople understand how to create those elements of urgency. Another outcome is awareness, right? Brand awareness and securing local or national press for your product, for your business, for your team. I spent a lot of time building campaigns with clients around this. And if you're planning a big product launch, if you're planning on hiring an executive, if you're working on a new investment round, if you are doing any of these things that you believe are newsworthy, it's important to have the right perspective, the right positioning, the right messaging in place. It's not enough to have a product launch. It's not enough to raise a round anymore. It's not enough to be hiring a well-known executive. That's not newsworthy enough for most local and national journalists. So what you need to do is really build a prevailing perspective that helps them understand what is different about you, what are you doing that's making a big impact or a big shift in the market. And I'll end by talking a little bit about new raises, new rounds of funding. I've spent time with clients working on this, working directly with founders and CEOs on refining their pitch decks, on refining their investor decks so that when they're talking with investors who don't know them as well as their initial group of investors, that they have the right story in place, they have the right positioning, they have the right go-to-market perspective that helps get those investors excited and on board with the journey that they want them to join. So that's what I would say about outcomes. We have a lot of great success stories with clients. If you have any questions about what we did to get certain outcomes that I've talked about in this video, what the process looked like, if you want to talk to the clients that experienced it, reach out to me. I'd love to get the conversation going and I'd love to help you. All right, have a good day.